Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is your boy here. Um, I'm really sad that I couldn't report it this earlier, like I had wanted to initially. Just been a really busy Wednesday for me from bell to bell, and it's late as hell. But I wanted to talk about this AEW. AEW All Elite Wrestling announced their partnership with TNT this morning at the Warner Media uh, uh, press conference or media press. Um, this is huge. This was huge. We knew from some of the reports going back to last week from the Wrap. I talked about it this past weekend, um, and everything came to fruition. They announced that AEW's partnership with TNT. Um, my Twitter blew up. A lot of people are excited about this. There is, I will say, since this announcement this morning, there is a rejuvenated, I feel, energy within the wrestling community. I think AEW, their when they first made their announcement, and first made their announcement in terms of what they are, back in January, it was cool. It did slowly begin to build up some hype. Today, I feel was, and even though there's more news to come, as the weeks and months go by, I felt today was the the big hurdle that they needed to get over, and was, in my opinion, the most vital, um, key tidbit of information to really get the traction and momentum going for this company. Um, AEW, like I said, it's the announcement this morning had everyone in the wrestling community talking, buzzing about it. Um, from the various reporters, from Solo Monster to Damian Nelson. Um, uh, he tweeted, he was like, "This is a game changer." Kenny Omega teased at the announcement, and tweeted and said, "Hey, guess what? We're selling T-shirts again," or something like that. Knocking the people who say that AEW is just a T-shirt company. You guys can't say that anymore. I mean, that joke no longer holds any value to it anymore. It's lost its novelty now because AEW has a prime time television deal. All those rumors about them buying out, buying their time, paying for their time to air the show. I don't think any of those things are true. They didn't mention any of that today. Um, there were some things that were not mentioned in this, but there were enough good key things, and I'm going to get to that right now, actually. Um, so from Warner Media, this was their press release. This comes direct from Warner Media's press release. Um, they say here, Warner Media announced today that it's partnering with AEW Wrestling, the new professional wrestling promotion featuring a world-class roster of diverse male and female wrestlers, giving fans a new wrestling experience for the first time in 20 years. Warner Media and AEW together will build this powerhouse sporting league from the ground up, and will bring airing weekly matches later this year. With this league, AEW is introducing a new generation of wrestlers to fans, offering fun, gripping, authentic, athletic matches that will make wrestling more accessible to a broad audience. Warner Media will utilize its position as a next-generation global media company to build this league into a global pro wrestling franchise. I continue. Founder, founded by President and CEO Tony Khan, AEW is headlined by the members of the Elite, which includes stars such as the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Brandy, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. It includes legendaries like Chris Jericho. It says here, later this year, Warner Media will provide exclusive multi-platform access for fans to watch AEW events airing live weekly, matches on TNT in prime time, as well as streaming them through Warner Media's BR Live. I think that's their the Bleacher Report, and on pay-per-view. A leading digital sports enterprise, BR Live's high fan engagement will provide an invaluable opportunity to build AEW's audience. All Elite Wrestling is a talent-forward, fan-first league whose inclusive approach to creating high-quality athletic wrestling competitions is already making waves with fans and attracting a top tier of wrestlers, said Michael Quogley, Executive Vice President of Commercial Operations, Content Strategy, and Modernization at TBS and TNT. He says, "It is a high, adrenaline-gripping entertainment, and we can't wait to bring it to fans everywhere with this game-changing new business." He continues to say, "Wrestling fans have wanted and needed something different, authentic, and better for far too long," quoted by Tony Khan. Tony Khan continues to say, "AEW is answering the call. AEW is more than wrestling. It's about a movement fueled by wrestling fans who have been underserved and perhaps even disappointed by what the industry has produced in recent years. AEW is rising to the occasion with Double or Nothing, and today taking it a step further by partnering with Warner Media, which is committed as we are to making wrestling fans the one and only priority. With Warner Media, AEW is poised globally to redefine wrestling as we know it today. Focused on producing fast-paced and high-impact competition, AEW offers fans, listen to these words, less scripted, soapy drama, and more athleticism and real sports analytics, bringing a legitimacy to wrestling that has not previously had. Wrestlers will also be given more freedom to explore their characters and highlight their athletic abilities. Introducing statistics to wrestling for the first time ever, AEW will raise the stakes for its matches and deepen fan engagement by tracking each competitor's wins and losses as the wrestlers pursue championships, analyzing their movesets, assessing damage to their opponents, and providing insight into their winning streaks." I continue. The Bleacher Report Live will serve as an exclusive digital streaming partner in the United States for AEW's inaugural event, Double or Nothing, Saturday, May 25th at the MGM Grand Studios. Double or Nothing, which sold out in under 30 minutes, features an exhilarating card including the headline clash between Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, Cody taking on his brother Dustin, the Young Bucks, and blah, blah, blah. Additionally, the hour-long live pre-show special, The Buy-In, which is dubbed The Buy-In, will stream on Warner Media and AEW socials channels. The Buy-In includes the first time ever Casino Royale, and I'll get into that when I do a review for Double or Nothing. But it says the media rights deal was negotiated by Khan and Bernie Cahill, co-founder of Activist Arts Management, LLC, an entity in which Khan is also an investor and partner. Let's see here. Warner Media is a legendary media entertainment company that creates and distributes premium and popular content from a diverse array of talented storytellers and journalists to global audience through its customer brands, including HBO, Warner, TNT, TBS, CNN, and blah, blah, blah. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Turner Broadcast, Classics, blah, blah, blah. All Elite Wrestling is a new professional wrestling promotion headlined by the members of the Elite, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's just basically it there. But now there were some journalistic, I guess you could say, buzzwords, media buzzwords. But reading this press release from Warner Media, AEW sounds great. It sounds great. And in this, you know they were taking cheap shots. They were taking cheap shots at WWE. Let's see if I can try to go back here. because there are a couple of notes I wanted to make here. Mm. um, the part where they state that AEW will be less soap opera drama. Listen to that word, soap opera drama. What has WWE always been known for Jesus generations? World Wrestling, well, it was known as WWF, World Wrestling Federation, but WWE has always been a heavy emphasis on the entertainment aspect of wrestling, the drama, I guess you could say. This press release basically took a little jab at WWE, saying that their product will be less soap opera and will focus more on the athleticism. That the AEW roster talent will have more creative freedom of their characters and personalities. Um, Tony Khan saying that in this press release, Tony Khan saying that wrestling fans have wanted and needed something different and authentic and better for far too long, and AEW are answering the call. AEW is more than about wrestling. It's about a movement fueled by wrestling fans who have been undeserved and perhaps even disappointed by what the industry has produced in recent years. That is another knock at WWE, because WWE has not been, they've kind of fallen on deaf ears. They have not really given wrestling fans what they've wanted. The big key thing here, though, which they've meant, Tony Khan has mentioned this going back to when they first announced AEW in January. The fact of them adding a real like sport authentic like analytics to the product is something fresh and different. Now, you may say to yourself, stats, whatnot, is wrestling, it's predetermined. Who cares? You'd be surprised just that tidbit of information, or that little bit of content, can help with how the overall product is perceived. I said this before. If they can take, and Tony Khan's mentioned this in his Chris Van Vliet interview, that if he could take, analytics statistics, from like UFC, how they do with their fighters or whatnot, and kind of take some of that and mix it in with the wrestling, it will make it mean something. Because one of the biggest things that that wrestling in today's generation, things don't mean anything anymore. Title belts don't mean much anymore. Wins and losses don't mean anymore. The only company that's holding it down, to me, in the last 6 or 7 years that I was watching it, is New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I've even made, the same reference that New Japan Pro Wrestling, they have their characters and whatnot, but they treat their product like it's a legitimate sport. And that was one of the things that had attracted me to New Japan 7 years ago, was that they treated their product like it was a legitimate sport. They didn't insult the older wrestling fans' intelligence. And it seems like all Elite Wrestling are going to take a page out of that same book. And I think that is it's a fresh perspective, and it's one that's kind of exciting and new and makes me eager to watch. Couple of things coming out of this here. Now, they did say that this is going in with TNT. They did not announce a date. They just said fall. So, according to the rumors, it might come out in October. They also did not release a day that their weekly show will be airing. Doing further research, we know TNT airs. They have a deal with NBA where they show basketball on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, from what I dug into and research that I've done, it looks like AEW airing on a Tuesday or Thursday night is not going to be possible due to contractual obligations that TNT has with NBA to air basketball in those two primetime days and slots. So the next question is, if Tuesday and Thursday is not a lock, what other days could they do? Monday is not a day for AEW to choose, and I think they're smart enough. I would hope they're smart enough not to pick Monday night. Monday night is a death sentence. Friday night is a dead zone for wrestling. I'm surprised SmackDown's going back to Friday nights. That's gonna kill it. So the only day that's really a sweet spot is Wednesday. Wednesday is that sweet spot, and honestly, that's not a bad day if they were to go for that. And now if they went for Tuesday, I don't know how that worked, with basketball, but when the NBA is in season. But if they go for a Wednesday night, that's a sweet spot. That might actually be a good day for them to air AEW. Also, let's look into this here as well. Warner Media, they said that AEW, their pay-per-views will be aired not only through the traditional pay-per-view route, because that is one slight complaint a lot of people have. AEW are charging like $40 to $50 for pay-per-view. A lot of people are like, hell no. I can understand their gripe about that, but like I said, I'll talk about this in a separate video when I do a review of the preview and predictions for the pay-per-view. But not only will it be the pay-per-views will be traditional pay-per-view standards, but they will also air their pay-per-view and stream their pay-per-views through the Bleacher Report live website streaming service, which is a pretty damn big streaming service. Because you look at the Bleacher Report, they have a huge audience there. There's a huge audience. If they market AEW right, you can get some of those people that are that can look at AEW and say, oh, hey, you know what? Let me check this out, because I keep seeing it a lot. Here's why TNT is a good spot. Because another good reason why it's good for AEW. You have the NBA games, and you also have One Championship. One Championship is a mixed martial arts product that TNT have worked with, or they've now just started a working relationship with this year alone. So they have a combat sport. So they have a combat sport and One Championship. Which, and if anyone scoffs at that, One Championship, you look at that, they have deep pockets. It's just an Asian-based ran promotion that they're trying to make their waves here in America, but they have deep pockets. You look at their sponsors; they got fucking Disney as one of their sponsors, and a whole bunch of other like legit people that got stake in that company. But One Championship, MMA combat sport, you have the NBA, and now you're gonna have All Elite Wrestling a part of that lineup. That's a damn good, sports lineup to have on primetime television under one network umbrella. That kind of kills WWE in terms of like what USA has. That's awesome. You're gonna get that crossover appeal. I think this is great. It's funny and kind of ironic that it's TNT, because you go back 20 years ago, TNT were in the wrestling game with WCW. And I know for a lot of people that say, well, TNT it's WCW 2.0 all over again, and TNT, they're going to get rid of AEW just like they did with WCW. TNT didn't get rid of WCW. It was their merger with AOL merger. Once AOL took over TNT and they merged and got all those properties, they wanted nothing left to do with professional wrestling, and they wanted nothing left with WCW. They wanted nothing to do with it. So you can thank AOL, Time Warner, during that merger as to why WCW got booted off TNT and they end up auctioning off the Vince. But this is all good news. Like I said again, they have not announced a day or date as terms of when they're going to air. And honestly, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Because if you've noticed since the beginning of AEW's announcement, they've been sprinkling a little information just here and there. They haven't really gone all out and, shared everything with the world all at once. And I think it's smart because it builds the anticipation and it builds the hype for the brand because they 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 only give so much information. They give you just enough, for you to know, but they leave enough out to keep you guessing and keep you talking and keep you wondering. It's smart. It's smart. And like I said, I said this last week when I reported that the press release was going to be today, or leading to the press release. By them having this TV deal along, it automatically makes them the number 2 wrestling company in America. I'm sorry. You look at the financial backing that they have, and yes, I know the Khan family are not throwing their entire fortune at AEW. Tony Khan himself said his father only made $100 million investment over a course of 3 years, that he would have to pay back to his father. So it's only $100 million investment over a course of 3 years that's been put into AEW. But still, you need a lot of money just to run a wrestling company. So for them to have the financial backing that they have and support, they have some key people in mind that know what they're doing. Also, the network that they have now that they just announced today, and it's in good working relations. I mean, there's no way they wouldn't be able to get this deal without Tony Khan. No way, no way. I mean, just what I read from a few minutes ago, and getting AEW to stream through the Bleacher Report streaming service, said here that Tony Khan is good friends uh, with the media, with the person who's in charge of like all the media rights. Tony Khan, Bernie Calhill, co-founder of Activist Artist Management, an entity which both Tony Khan became an investor and partner in. So he's got stake in this company. He's got connections. Tony Khan's a smart guy. I know a lot of people like to sit back and say, well, he's a fanboy who's just kind of like living out his fantasies of owning a wrestling company because that's what he loves. But I don't think I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think this is like a Dixie Carter situation where, Dixie, or even a Ted Turner situation where Ted Turner just kind of goes and says, hey, here's the checkbook. I don't know anything too much about wrestling. I love it, but here's the checkbook. Do what you got to do. This guy is watching his finances. He's watching where everything goes. He's even said in a couple of interviews, he's like, yeah, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes or whatever, they have ideas and everything, but at the end of the day, the bus stops with him. He has the final say at the end of the day. He's open to their opinions, but the bus stops with him. And despite him being, a nerdy or kind of like nice guy, I think he's smart, and I think he knows what he's doing. I think Tony Khan knows what he's doing, and I think some people kind of they don't. I think they kind of underestimate him a little bit. But like I said, even though they have not had their own TV a weekly show just yet, they only have one pay-per-view event coming next weekend. But just this TV deal alone, and TNT willing to work with AEW and getting the brand out there and cross, multiple platforms. What they said is what they're going to do, and reaching across multiple platforms. TNT's got reach. They have a reach, and this is damn interesting. This is really, really interesting, and it's fun. To me, I'm excited about wrestling. I am. I may have moments where I'm like happy about it or whatever, but genuinely seeing the rise of AEW, the buzz that's around it, this TV deal that they just announced today, I'm excited about it, and I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's interesting. I'm going to say something else real quick before I cut it here because I didn't expect it to make it this long here. But like yeah, I just this is an exciting time for wrestling. Even what's his name? Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle put out a tweet of his expression. He was like, "That face you make when you're about to when you're about to live the greatest generation in wrestling due to competition. Thank you." Matt Riddle knows what's about to get ready to happen. He knows that there's a buzz, there's an excitement, and I just want to be a fly on the wall. Um, uh, 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 I just want to be a fly on the wall and see how WWE look at this. What are they thinking? I don't think anyone is like shaking in their boots, but I'm pretty sure there's some people in the office talking. They saw this conference today and they're talking. And what's funny is that this isn't just something that's just small and minute. Everyone was talking about this. I looked online. IGN talked about this. I believe TMZ might have talked about this as well. The New York Post talked about this morning. They had an article up this morning. Vanity Fair, or Vanity, I should say, wrote an article today about it, which is hilarious because they just wrote an article yesterday with Vince McMahon and with him on the front cover of Vanity magazine talking about the WWE and the future for SmackDown, SmackDown going over to Fox and whatnot. That was an interesting read, but that was funny to see that Vanity had an article with Vince McMahon with him on the front cover of their magazine, and then the day after they write this nice long article about AEW getting this deal from TNT. It's hilarious. So it's not just what I'm saying is that this media buzz is not just amongst like the wrestling fans, the wrestling community, like some key like news media publishers or whatever. They're talking about this. They've been talking about this today. New York Post, Vanity, IGN, TMZ. Like these aren't media outlets to sneeze at. So it's interesting. I'm excited. What are you guys' thoughts about this partnership, the announcement? What do you hope to see from the product? Once they finally do have their weekly TV show, what are you looking forward to this weekend for Double or Nothing? Does it make you even more excited for Double or Nothing pay per view? It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting weekend for Double or Nothing, and it's definitely damn near sure going to be an interesting 2019 for professional wrestling. I love it. I love it. You guys let me know what you think in the box below. Do yourself a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Peace out.